Okay, I need you all to see this. Blake Lively's old blog, Preserve, has some extremely creepy posts, and this is the same blog that glorified the antebellum South. For example, it published the swimwear article that is so creepy I couldn't believe what I was reading. This first article I'll talk about is called A Strange Love, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. If you think that's confusing, the actual article itself is not really much more clear, but it's a super creepy history of the bikini that starts by referencing nuclear bomb tests at Bikini Atoll. Kind of a dark, weird framing for a fashion post. And then it goes on to say, instead of thinking of war, the bikini brings to mind summer, oceans and sand, and sun-kissed GIRLS. Sorry, I'm censoring it for TikTok. Not women, GIRLS. That's right. And later it says the bikini still has the ability to make some blush, others go weak at the knees, and turn BOYS everywhere giddy. Sun-kissed GIRLS, BOYS going giddy. Like, what are we doing here? Did no one look at this and say, maybe we shouldn't publish this as is? And then it dives into this kind of admiration of the bikini as something alluring because of what it hides, apparently. The writer says, the part left to the imagination that so excites the mind, which could maybe be more fine if it were clearly written about adult women. But this piece is reminiscing about a childhood slip and slide party with bikini-clad jockeying for a turn. That is an unsettling combination. Again, how did no one on Blake's team read this and say, this sounds kind of like the diary entry of I'll let you guys fill it in. This was a blog that Blake Lively created. Her brand was built around it. And just like the plantation wedding and the allure of the antebellum things that she was posting, there's this pattern of glorifying things that are either hypersexualized or historically traumatic, it seems like, through this kind of lens of aesthetic luxury. And even though this article is gone now, the marketing copy from it is still out there and it's archived. She has not addressed this to my knowledge. She's not apologized for any of this. These are by far not the only creepy things in this blog, by the way. There is another article that's talking about sensuality in summer, and it has a link to a dress, and it's talking about the subtleties of sensuality and says, expand the imagination with abstractions of what glides beneath. Is this blog supposed to be PG-13 rated? And then there's another one that says, oh, the allure of vanilla buttercream spread perfectly over a cake or your ASS winking face. It is talking about buttercream colored leggings, but this is a lot to me. And then there's also a very weird statement where the blog says, everyone knows the best way to make friends is to pay them. To pay them! This sounds more like an admission than a joke. Why is someone who has gotten called out for publishing this really offensive content in the past getting awards, by the way, for moving the country forward? What is going on here? I'm sure there's a lot more. I've barely started digging, and these were the first posts that I brought up, and I found these pretty much immediately. So I think there's a lot with this blog. If only it were still up, and I'm sure there's even more that maybe wasn't archived, but we do have a lot of the links still. I saved all of them, so